In this video, I will be talking about the things I have learned since quarantine, since shutdown, since COVID has broken out and changed our lives as we know it in this past year. So I guess what I've learned in 2020. So if you're curious to know what I've learned about myself in this last year, then just keep watching.
Let it start, I will have no fear. No, I can let it start, I will let it start, I will have...
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Melly Isha TV. If you're new here on this channel, I talk about fitness, faith, music, and more. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please consider subscribing and leaving the video a like. If you turn on those post notifications, you will not miss a future episode. Okay, so I think I'll start with the negative things I have learned about myself since this quarantine life, because I am still currently in quarantine status as far as my job goes. I am teleworking most of the time, so yeah, I am home a lot, and being home more than not allows you to see yourself and know yourself a little bit better. And yeah, so I've learned a few things about myself that I do not like since this quarantine. So number one thing that I have learned about myself, unfortunately, since this quarantine is that I'm not as disciplined as I thought I was. Not as disciplined as I prided myself. Prior to being in quarantine, I was super disciplined, and I felt like I was a very disciplined person. Disciplined with my fitness, disciplined with my diet, disciplined with my devotional time. Like every day during my lunchtime, I would go sit in my car and had my devotional time, make sure I was reading and worshiping and doing all those things to keep yourself growing spiritually, right? So as soon as quarantine hit, it just knocked off my whole schedule, which brings me to another thing I learned, which I did already know this, but I did not know to the degree of how important this is for me to stay disciplined, is routine. Like, I need routine so badly to be productive and to be disciplined. So like I was saying, once quarantine started, that knocked off my whole schedule. I wasn't doing the exact same thing every day. I wasn't having to go to bed at a certain time because I didn't have to be to work at a certain time. I can sleep, I can stay up a little bit later and then wake up a little bit later and still be able to log on time for work. I could take my lunch break whenever I wanted. There was a lot more freedom to do different things. Whereas while I was at work, it was like, okay, all I get is this little hour. Can't go nowhere far, can't really do much, so I would just go to my car and have my devotional time. So that got all thrown out because I had more freedom and more time. It was easier for me to say, oh, I can do this later and I can do that later, and then just never getting done. In the beginning as well, when the gym closed, I realized I wasn't that disciplined to my fitness lifestyle, because if it wasn't the gym, I wasn't gonna work out. Like there was no compromise. It was like either I work out at the gym or I'm not working out. Like the home workout thing was not for me. I might have done it 2 or 3 times out of the 2 to 3 months that all the gyms were closed. So I'm a little disappointed about that and about myself. Even this whole journey to becoming an artist thing, like this was supposed to be 100 consecutive days of my journey to becoming an artist, and technically these 100 days should have been up in July. It is November. It's November and I'm still trying to finish these 100 days. Like, what is wrong with me, really? So yeah, I guess another negative thing I learned about myself during this quarantine, other than I'm not as disciplined as I thought I was, and the fact that I need routine way more than I thought I did, is I'm easily distracted. I did not think I was that easily distracted before, but now I am. So I'm learning that being home most of the day has a lot of distractions. Mainly my husband, but you know, yeah, a lot of distractions, and it's hard for me to get a lot of things done. It's hard for me to focus on one thing. It's like, oh wait, I gotta go, let me do this and let me do that, and I'm trying to multitask so much that some things just don't get done, and then I'm procrastinating. think I've been doing a lot of procrastinating during this quarantine as well. So a lot of procrastination. I never thought I was much of a procrastinator, but I'm finding that I am in that area as well. Another thing I learned during this quarantine is I'm kind of easily irritated, I think. Yeah, easily irritated and easily distracted. Yeah, I don't know why. I think the busier lifestyle I have, there's less opportunities for me to be irritated, but and less opportunities for me to be distracted because I have so limited time to do whatever task that I'm doing. But now that I don't have that, yeah, I'm finding that I'm more easily irritated and distracted. Okay, so I think that's it for the negative observations I've made about myself during this quarantine. Some of the positives, I would say the number one positive thing I've learned during this quarantine is that me and my husband actually really get along. As much as he gets on my nerves throughout the day, it's still like playful. Like, we really don't argue much. We're home together all day long, and it's perfectly fine, other than the fact that I don't get 8 hours of quiet time for me to dedicate to my work as I should be, working from home. But outside of that, it's like, yeah, we get along well. Like, we're actually really good friends, and I still really need my alone time and desire that and love my space. But we're not butting heads, we're not arguing all day, we don't dislike each other. Like, we actually like each other. So that's one good thing that I've learned. Like, I just really know that now, you know? So if we were like stuck on an island together, I think we would be fine. That being said, another thing I learned about myself, well, I already knew this, but I really do value my alone time. Like, any time that he does step out of the house and I have it to myself, I'm like, okay, what can I get done? What can I do to be productive? Like, I am most productive when I am alone. And that might be an introvert thing. I think it is, but yeah, when I'm alone, I get so much more stuff done. So I try to plan my to-do list around his schedule. So when I know he's gonna be at work, I have my to-do list. Even like doing these videos like this, I try to do these when he's not home, because, you know, if he's home, he wants attention. He's extroverted, so we're opposites in that way. But yeah, I learned that the more busier I am, the more productive I am. So that's neither positive nor negative, just a neutral observation. I'm most productive when I'm alone. I'm also most productive in the morning. Like, when I first get up, that's when I want to do everything. I want to clean anything that didn't get cleaned the day before. I want to organize something. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to go work out. I am most productive during the day, or like when I first get up. And then after that, it just kind of trickles down throughout the day. The later it gets, like as soon as it starts getting dark, I'm done. I don't want to do anything productive anymore. I just want to sit and chill, Netflix and chill, just chill. Don't ask me any favors, pretty much. I learned that I am truly a homebody. Like, I've always said that I was a homebody, but other people since quarantine that thought they were homebodies are learning that they really are not, and that they really want to get out and stuff. But I'm like, I'm really fine. The first few months of quarantine, like, I didn't even leave the house to do grocery shopping. Like, my husband was doing all of that, and I was perfectly fine being home and not going anywhere. Like, the most thing that bothered me of not being able to leave was going to the gym. Like, that's all I cared about. I just wanted to go work out. But outside of that, like, I don't need to go to restaurants. I don't need to go to a friend's house. I don't need to go to the movies. I don't really need to leave the house. Like, I can do everything at home. If I can order food, order in, have something to watch on TV, I am perfectly fine. And if I had my own at-home gym, like, I really would be okay to continue this quarantine for longer. I mean, that's all I really care about, the gym. Outside of that, I love being home. So I learned that I am a genuine, authentic homebody, and quarantine has confirmed that for me. Yeah, I think those are the top things that I have learned about myself during this quarantine. I have yet to figure out a good routine for me to be productive on a daily basis. The only thing that I have been consistent with is working out. As soon as the gyms opened up, I went right back into that. So that is definitely still routine, I think, because it's a habit that I've had for years now. It was harder to break. Definitely been consistent with my gym time. My devotional time is still, I don't have a set time every day, so it's not a routine thing yet, and neither is anything else. I've got some things to work on, and yeah, I just wanted to share those things with you. So I'm curious to know, what have you learned about yourself during this quarantine season, this quarantine year, 2020? What has it taught you about yourself? What are things you need to work on, and what are things that you're really good at, despite what is going on in the world around you? All right, leave them in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Anyway, if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you would subscribe, share this video with a friend, check out some of my other videos on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
No, I can't